lurking?
What else would you be doing there?
Going to the restroom.
I don't want you going to my restroom.
restroom.
Stick in your own restroom. For my safety, never mind yours.
Okay, would a man be lurking? Would a biological man, is he lurking next to you?
That's the whole point.
Emma Vigeland is crazy woke and gets absolutely demolished in this clip by Amala Ekpunobi and Piers Morgan on Piers Morgan Uncensored, as the topic of trans women in women's bathrooms triggers Emma Vigeland in this heated debate so badly, she literally cannot shut up. Piers Morgan even threatens to mute her. It's that bad. And Amala Ekpunobi drops facts that completely crushes Emma Vigeland's crazy woke position. So let's check out this demolition of crazy Emma Vigeland by Amala Ekpunobi and Piers Morgan.
Found guilty in a civil action. He denied it, as you know.
Found
and in case of and the case of Gates and Pete Hesketh,
so the preponderance of evidence went in her
just keep
direction.
Talking.
And she's been
all right,
and
keep talking.
he has been accused
Let
by
me know when
dozens
you finish.
of women.
Let
There
me know
you go.
when are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
When we have a debate, the customary for the host leads it, and you respond to questions, okay? If I may be so bold. The point is that Hesketh and Gates have categorically denied any wrongdoing, and none has been proven against them. In Trump's case, it was a civil action, as you know, not a criminal action. The criminal case against him was shuffling paperwork over an alleged one-night stand with a porn star. So it's not quite how you categorized it. Deborah Lee, let me bring you in here.
Has this trans lawmaker been accused of rape? Has this trans lawmaker?
No, but actually, if you are a congresswoman, if you're a congresswoman who survives sexual assault, you should be entitled to feel safe in the restroom.
The presence of a trans woman in the bathroom. Oh gosh, you know, here in New York, there are a lot of multi-gender bathrooms, and I've gone to the bathroom next to a man. Oh my goodness, it was so fearful. What was I going to do? I would actually be quite fearful
if I found you lurking next to me in a men's restroom. I'd feel fearful. Deborah Lee, let me bring you in here. I just think
that is a ridiculous accusation, Piers.
I didn't make an accusation. It was a statement of fact. I would feel fearful.
You would feel uncomfortable? Why would you feel uncomfortable?
If you were lurking around me in a men's urinal, damn right I'd feel uncomfortable.
Lurking? Who's lurking?
Well, what else would you be doing there?
Is this lawmaker lurking?
What else would you be doing there?
Going to the restroom.
I don't want you going to my restroom. Stick in your own restroom. For my safety, never mind yours.
Okay, but would a man be lurking? Would a biological man, is he lurking next to you?
That's the whole point.
Why is there something inherently perverted about going to the bathroom? You right-wingers, and yes, I'm including you in this with this classical liberal BS, are so bad faith. It's incredible. You are linking sexual abuse and sexual assault to trans people inherently, and that is a bigoted statement.
No, I want trans people I want them to have fairness and equality like the rest of us, just not where it erodes women's rights. But Deborah Lee, you've been listening to this patiently.
But separate but equal.
Emma,
separate but equal.
We're four people on the panel.
I would like to respond to this.
Deborah, your response.
Hey!
As somebody who grew up as an athlete, I would have been terrified if there was a man in my sports, in my leagues, playing against me. My own brother, who's 2 years older than me, anytime we would play basketball against each other, he would knock me down. And you say that you speak up for women's rights, but have you heard about the case in Virginia where a man put on a skirt, even though he went with male pronouns, and went into the bathroom and sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl, and now the parents are suing the school because they tried covering it up. You want to protect women? We're not saying that every single trans person has violent tendencies, but it's opening this up that any single person, if there's no checks on this, any man can put on a skirt, say, I'm a woman, and go into the bathroom, and it's paving the way to make it easier for predators to attack women. And I don't know why you're so offended that women want to be able to use the bathroom without men in their presence. That is something that is totally normal and fair to ask.
I just find it amazing. Honestly, I find it amazing that on the left, if we talk about abortion, all hell breaks loose. Women should be protected. Women must feel safe. Women must have rights. Women should have autonomy over their bodies. And yet when it comes to sport, you're quite happy for biological males, or let's put it this way.
You know what?
Put it this way, but hang on. You've got to let me finish a question.
I think it's a little different
You've got
than
to let me finish a question.
Out in parking lots because they can't
Sorry,
get their health care.
Emma, you really are not familiar with how these things work.
No, Piers.
You have to let me ask a question.
Should Yao Ming have been banned from the NBA because he's too tall? I mean,
like, this woman, Emma Vigeland, is absolutely insufferable. She just talks and talks and just tries to force the point. And even what she just said, Yao Ming in basketball, it's all a bunch of guys. Like, that argument doesn't even make sense. And that's how deranged these woke leftists over at the Majority Report are. Like, it's literally not the same argument. You're going to say, that's comparable to a tall guy versus a short guy, and you discriminate against the tall guy. No, it's two different genders, two different sexes, two different chromosomes, two different physiologies. Like, this is the damage that happens when people actually really buy into this insanity, is that they actually want to force this down the throats of everyone else in society. And like, look at Emma Vigeland, like, giggle and cackle at Deborah Lee talking like it's a joke, like it's funny. It's not funny to the victims. So yeah, they'll preach to you, but then when you show cases where they're wrong, then they try to mock you. This is why no one can stand the woke left anymore, and they basically got beat in the election, because like, this is how they talk and treat other people. Even Emma Vigeland, how she's talking to Piers Morgan on his own show, trying to talk over him, and Piers Morgan has to like explain. Like, I couldn't imagine being stuck in a room alone with this person. Like, let me know in the comments, how horrible of an experience do you think that would be if you were one-on-one stuck in a room and you had to speak alone to Emma Vigeland? Like, how terrible of an experience would that be for you? Let me know. Leave a like. Let's get back at it.
Gotta like make it be fair in competition.
I tell you what's not fair. When you have a boxer in the Women's Olympics boxing winning a gold medal who has male chromosomes and who beat up one of his opponents.
Okay, based on a Russian,
beats up one of his opponents, her opponents, whatever you want to call this boxer.
That is what they determine.
Please stop talking when I'm talking. It's so boring for everyone watching. They can't hear us if you do that, right?
I mean, this is your whole shtick. I mean, you've been doing debates about the genocide in Gaza.
Am I going to have to mute you? Because honestly, everyone is sick of this now. Just please conduct yourself properly in a debate. Otherwise, we get nowhere. Right? Let me bring in Amala. You've been waiting patiently. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I just have a question. How many more anecdotes do you need of women and young girls being assaulted due to these laws and regulations for you to actually care about it? I've heard many stories. I'm in Los Angeles.
Until you give me a statistic.
In Los Angeles, we had a grown man here in Spa in Los Angeles. We had a grown man actually go into the women's locker room at a spa, expose themselves to all the women there, all of the young girls there. In Loudoun County, Virginia, you had a young girl who was raped in her school bathroom, a place where she is meant to feel safe, by a trans-identifying student. In the state of New Jersey, in their prison system, they allowed trans-identifying women to go ahead and move over to the women's facility. That ended up with 2 pregnant inmates. Be it consensual or non-consensual, it does not matter. These situations are 100% avoidable. And we are in no way characterizing all trans women as being predatory in nature by any means. It is to say that you are opening a door that needs to remain closed. And our comfort does matter. Our safety does matter.
And by the way, Amala,
we agree
hang on, Emma, I'll come back to you. Emma, I'll come back to you. But also fairness matters too. So the United Nations 2 weeks ago had a report that said just under 900 medals have been won by trans athletes in women's sport, thus depriving biological actual women from winning medals because they are literally not as strong, not as powerful, do not have the endurance of the trans women athletes because they have male physiology. How can that be right?
Absolutely.
900 medals.
So Piers.
Yes. Explain to me. Why don't you care?
First of all, So why don't I care about that? One is the fact that this should be determined by those specific bodies. It's not at the top of my priority list.
Some are male, some are female. That's why we separated in the Olympics.
That women are bleeding out in parking lots. That trans youth are committing suicide at extremely high rates because of this exact kind of rhetoric, where you otherize them for the gender identity of their choice.
What, you mean standing up for women's rights? If trans care was
available to all of these kids, if trans care was available to these kids, they would develop in the exact same way where none of this would even matter. And so back to what was being said before about these assaults on other people. Back to what was being said before about assaults on these people. I think they should be prosecuted, and definitely I'm completely against the idea that we should let someone slide just based on their identity if they assault somebody, which is why I'm sure everybody on this panel that is obsessed with this issue has been talking repeatedly over and over again about the rape in male prisons by male prisoners repeatedly against their same biological gender.
That's
in fact,
wrong too.
It happens.
Yes, it is.
Right. So how many?
But you know what you don't. You know what you never hear, Emma. You know what you never hear. You never hear. You never hear.
Not about this
Emma. You never hear about a trans man having an unfair advantage in male sport. Why is that? How come we never hear about that? It
There are
never,
trans men that
ever,
have because
you know why?
amplify
You know
the
why?
story
Because they don't
it's
win.
A moral panic,
They don't
just
win
like it was
because
with
they
gay
have
people being
inferior
predators in
physiology.
Folks, this woman is out of her mind deranged. Did you hear what she said? Like trans kids, oh, well, if we get to them like before puberty, and Amala Ekpunobi like even pointed out, oh yeah, like getting to the kids, like they are so eager, so willing to do something completely irreversible and destructive to the human body, to children, and they justify it. And through their policies, they create all of this chaos. But in the end, oh, well, we agree that no one should be assaulted. No one should be this. You've created this. You've created this entire problem through your ideology, through your policies, and now you don't want to deal with the consequences of that. Like, no. You made this. Emma Vigeland, the woke left, this is what they want, right? And this is the consequence. Destruction of women's sports, destruction of women's private spaces, destruction of the border between the genders. Like, it just creates madness. And she doesn't want to take any responsibility for that because everyone on the left, doesn't want to take any responsibility at all. But Amala Ekpunobi and Piers Morgan, I mean, all made good, valid points of why you should not allow this. And think about this. It's like, when she's talking about, oh, well, they're ending themselves. No, they're not ending themselves because of rhetoric. They're ending themselves because they've been harmed forever. And they're either realizing it or they can't deal with what's going on inside of them at the time because you've scrambled their brain. Like the destruction that the woke left is leaving for the legacy of America is going to be felt for a very, very long time. But Emma Vigeland, the Majority Report, Sam C, all of these wokeists have to just at least get booted out of positions of power so they don't make the rules. Otherwise, they will keep destroying children and women's spaces all on the mantle of trans ideology. The rule of the few over the 99% of everybody else. But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about what Amala Ekpunobi and Piers Morgan had to say to psycho woke Emma Vigeland on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.